Wednesday, August 27th, 5:41 p.m. New York time. Welcome back, investors, to Winning Wall Street's Money. Almost at the end of the month. Going to show you the major U.S. stock indexes and deeper insight on the S&P 500, as well as some day trades I took today. Yep. We're already halfway through the week, last week of the month. And we have some stock indexes that made all-time new highs. The futures markets will be opening in about another 19 minutes, give or take. This is the S&P 500, 5-year chart. Each candle's a week. And this week, this day, made a new high, all-time new high in the S&P 500. The S&P 500, if you don't know, is comprised of several stock indexes. I have several videos on that, good insight. The S&P 500 also is made up of 11 sectors. I posted a video a few days ago just showing the year-to-date performance of those sectors, and you'll be very surprised it's not technology. This is the NASDAQ 100. It is not at all-time high. Plus, it's an inside candle for the week. It's part of the S&P 500. This is the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Also inside candle for the week, and it's part of the S&P 500. Well, this is the Dow Transports. It's part of the S&P 500. Inside candle for the week, and way below the all-time high. Dow Utilities, part of the S&P 500, and it actually broke below the low of last week, so it's making lower highs, lower low. It's trending down. Also, the S&P 100 is part of the S&P 500. I don't have that on here. And now I will show you something else. This is the Russell 2000. It is not part of the S&P 500. It made an all-time new high this year, still below the highs of last year. That's concerning. The Russell 2000 making an all-time new high, not the Dow, not the NASDAQ, for the year. That's a divergency. And understand where the money is flowing. Interesting, right? Certainly is if you understand what's going on. Bigger picture. Now we're going to go down to the S&P 500, top down. I mentioned we are almost at the end of the month. This is a 20-year chart of the S&P 500 futures. This month made all-time new high. The weekly chart of the S&P 500 futures. We are not at all-time high. That was 3 weeks ago. Again, this is the futures S&P 500. The other one I showed you first was the cash S&P 500. There's a difference. There are different exchanges, different rules and regulations. This is the S&P 500 daily chart. Again, here is the all-time high right there. And we closed as a dodgy candle at the top of a trend. That's suspicious. You know what a dodgy candle means? It means one of two things. It means indecision and either a halfway point for the trend. So we could have a divergency here, or we could have a, again, high there, tested fill, and a markdown distribution. Again, this is the futures. This will open back again at 6 p.m. And this is the cash index. I mentioned it made an all-time new high. See that? There's a divergency from the cash to the futures. The 4-hour chart on the ES. Look at this last 4-hour candle. Huge wick on the top, huge wick on the bottom. Close back inside that prior 4-hour candle. broke the swing high and closed below it. Rejection. This is the 1 hour chart. Yep. That's the swing point. It failed to take that out. That yellow line. Again, this blue horizontal line was another swing point. Like I mentioned, it broke above it. The last 4 hour candle, sorry, the last 1 hour candle, huge whipsaw. So let's remove this. Excuse me. 15-minute chart, 5 days. Overnight sessions here. Dump before the New York session opens, which was 9:30. Huge pump. Huge volatility right there. Going to cue this in for the 1 minute chart. Cue it in for my day trade. Day trades. Purple line, horizontal line with 9 p.m. Sorry, 9 a.m. This was this gray area was 9:30 a.m. to 9:45. This blue was 10 a.m. So this consolidation, I was thinking we are going to have sell-off. Right here, huge consolidation. So I took a short here. Fast move down and closed for a profit. Thank goodness, because it didn't continue going down. Rallied back up after 11 a.m. And I was thinking, okay, I think it's going to break above this 10 a.m. I was looking at multiple time frames. So I took a long here. And finally, when it went up, closed it there. She's tired. They don't want to stay at the desk anymore. So 2 winning trades. Second one was a bigger gain. Worked out well. That being said, I want to show you. This is a 1 hour chart. Again, the futures would be opening at 6 p.m. Far left, the S&P 500 futures. Second from the left, the NASDAQ 100. Third from the left, the Dow Jones Industrial Average. And the far right, the Russell 2000. That last 1 hour candle on each of them was the high of the day. You can see the S&P 500 futures and the NASDAQ 100 futures on the far left closed red. Those have been the leadership in the past days, weeks, months, and years. And they dumped. Technology. Here, Dow Jones 30 and the Russell 2000. Last closed green. Candles are both on. Again, we have a divergency there. We'll see how things play out this evening during Asian session, London session, and tomorrow morning. Thank you as always, spending just a little time with me. That's it for the video. Thank you for watching.